Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions and prospects are coming up in the Single Market program.
Hello, my name is Pavel Koktышев, and you're watching Single Market. South Korea. Kazakhstan is interested in cooperation with this country for a number of reasons. First of all, the country's experience of establishing a market economy in a relatively short period of time is quite instructive. Second of all, South Korea is practically obsessed with the digital format, which for us is a vector of development. Third of all, this country is a potential member of the Silk Road Economic Belt, which is why our interests coincide. Today, there are 465 registered enterprises in Kazakhstan, which were established with attracted capital from South Korea. The range of their activities is quite wide. They work in sectors such as the ore mining complex, production of food products, machine building, light industry, trade and services. The inflow of direct investments from South Korea to Kazakhstan's economy in the last 10 years exceeded more than $4 billion. However, aside from attracting investments, the partnership with this country is attractive due to the possibility of learning from their experience as an innovative economy. For this purpose, a special department was established at the Embassy of Kazakhstan in South Korea, which is responsible for attraction of investments and transfer of technologies. We're working with many South Korean companies, Chiboli conglomerates, which are considering the possibility of relocating their production sites somewhere in Kazakhstan. And this is how the transfer of technologies will be realized. In South Korea, transnational corporations which are owned by a single family are called Chiboli. They're responsible for almost half of the entire volume of industrial sales in the country, and there are around 30 companies like this in South Korea. 3 of them have intellectual property or financial assets registered in Kazakhstan. These are companies such as LG Electronics, Hyundai and Lotte. At the moment, there are enterprises operating in Kazakhstan that were established with their participation. For example, an assembly enterprise in Almaty manufactures commercial technical equipment. The range of its models is quite wide. 12 models of cars, which are manufactured according to the schematic designs and technologies provided by the South Korean company. The 2 main production lines are used for the assembly of Hyundai County. This is a 7-meter-long bus with 28 seats of the so-called middle class. We have 5 different model variations of this bus. And the second production line is for the large component assembly of Hyundai wheels, with a load-bearing capacity from 3 to 8 tons. The Almaty ventilator plant is an example of another version of cooperation. 3 years ago, this enterprise introduced the South Korean technology Inverter 5. This resource-saving technology is used to manufacture air conditioning systems with a low energy consumption level. We obtained a certificate of the LG standard, introduced adjustments into the organization of our management, introduced the LG quality system. By the way, this is a very high-quality benchmark. We have developed a number of new models. At the moment, we're starting to receive the first orders from Russia. In 2014, the transnational company from Seoul, Lotte Group, entered Kazakhstan's market. The company bought out the shares of the Rahat confectionery factory.
Практически весь 2014 год новый инвестор знакомился как с самим предприятием, так и опять же.
Almost the entire period of 2014, the new investor company was getting to know the enterprise, analyzing the details and nuances in order to familiarize themselves with it in Kazakhstan's context, because for them this was their first experience on Kazakhstan's market.
Присутствие на казахстанском рынке.
Already in 2015, the investing company started investing into production and overall development aimed at expansion and modernization.
В развитии производства.
The new stage of the South Korean company's experience on Kazakhstan's market entailed a reinvestment to the new confectionery production site that was opened in Shymkent. For this project in 2015, the company Lotte Group was nominated as one of the best investors in the country. At the end of 2015, 2 modern production lines were launched with the production of biscuit goods, and practically in the beginning of 2017, we launched the 3rd production line for the manufacturing of new product items.
Мы запустили уже 3-ю линию.
Today, the transnational companies of South Korea are introducing a new format of cooperation with Kazakhstan. It is global and within the framework of China's initiative One Belt, One Road and Kazakhstan's participation in the Eurasian Economic Union.
한국 기업들이 카자흐스탄에 투자를
At the moment, in joint cooperation with the representatives of the Eurasian Economic Union, we're discussing a new agreement on free trade between South Korea and the Eurasian Economic Union. We are hoping that thanks to these amendments, the cooperation between our countries will be more convenient and as efficient as possible.
카자흐스탄에 투자할 분야가 많이 확대되고 있는 것으로 알고 있습니다.
Within this context, the partnership of the two countries in the development of the transport and logistics infrastructure takes on a special importance. South Korea is interested in establishing a connection between the Trans-Korean Railway line and the Trans-Chinese and Trans-Siberian Railway lines, and Kazakhstan is right at the crossroads of these routes. Therefore, the territory of mutually beneficial projects will continue expanding in new directions. Oleg Boldarev, Anatoly Baluysky, exclusively for Single Market. Experts compile ratings of states that are currently considered to be the most advanced in the sphere of innovation, thereby motivating countries towards change. The Bloomberg agency published its yet another innovation index. Alexander Galiev brings us the details. And so we start off with the criteria according to which the Bloomberg agency compiles its annual innovation index report.
Агентство включает в расчет такие параметры.
The agency looks at indicators such as spending on research and development as a percentage of GDP, labor productivity, the number of companies operating in the high technology sector, the level of development of the service sector, number of researchers, and number of patents.
Следователей и число патентов.
This year, the following countries with the most innovative economies made it to the list of top 10. South Korea is in first place, followed by Sweden, Germany, Switzerland, Finland, Singapore, Japan, Denmark, and the US. Israel closes off the list of the leading countries.
Главный сюрприз рейтинга от агентства Bloomberg.
The main surprising result of Bloomberg's rating is Russia's rapid decline in the innovation index. The country was downgraded from the 12th place to the 26th, losing 14 positions. The representatives of the Ministry of Economic Development of the Russian Federation had their own assessment regarding this. The essence of it is the following. For the evaluation of the real level of innovation in the economic sphere, it would be wise to use indicators which are more objective in reflecting the structural changes in the economic sectors and the growth rates of prospective markets. In addition, data from 2015 was used in this rating. And as it is known, this year was the most turbulent for Russia in the last couple of years.
Был самым турбулентным за последние несколько лет.
Aside from Russia, from the post-Soviet states that made it to the list of top 50, we have Lithuania in 32nd position, Estonia 33rd, Latvia 39th, Ukraine 42nd, and Kazakhstan 48th. By the way, Kazakhstan improved its position by 2 points. Last year was the first time that the country made it to the Bloomberg rating in 50th position.
В 2018 году у Казахстана есть...
In 2018, Kazakhstan has a good chance of rising above its 48th position. For Bloomberg's experts, the country's efforts towards accelerated technological upgrading of the economy, particularly the creation of new digital technology-based perspective sectors, serve as a convincing argument. President Nursultan Nazarbayev recently highlighted this vector of development in his new address, Kazakhstan's Third Modernization, Global Competitiveness.
Третье – модернизация Казахстана, глобальная конкурентоспособность.
And instead of a summary, a rating is not just anonymized tables and graphs. This is an important instrument of competition among countries for investments and the brightest minds. And what could be more valuable today? That's all from me. My name is Alexander Galiev. Until next time on Single Market.
В программе «Рынок без границ».
In order to grow in the medium to long term, you need a whole array of factors. Many countries tend to focus in one or two factors as if these by themselves would work, and they end up being a miserable failure. Let me give you an example. In 1992, there was an expo in Seville, in Spain. And the government of Spain decided to use the expo to promote Seville. They created the infrastructures, the trains, the high-speed trains going to Seville from Madrid, the buildings. The hope was that once you have all the infrastructures, they forgot that for firms to flourish, in addition to all of these things, you need people. you need human capital. Sometimes you forget one factor, which is the people, and the whole project collapses. Unless you have the right human capital around, it's not going to work. Intelligent people go to places where there is other intelligent people because they want to work together. The only way to attract human capital is to have your own human capital.
The sphere that is the most open and active with regards to new digital technologies is the business industry. In this sector, the principle "time is money" actually works, because according to experts, companies that have found their niche in the sphere of providing smart solutions today enjoy great demand. By the way, one of these Kazakhstani companies took part in a trade mission last year in Kiev, the capital city of Ukraine. Non-cash payments were already used back in the 18th century. For example, promissory notes and checks appeared way before the telephone or internet for that matter. But only with the development of digital communication technologies, non-cash transactions reached a level of real popularity. According to Kazakhstan's analysts, by the end of 2017, every fifth tenge in the country will be paid this way. The domestic company SmartPay, which developed the terminals for non-cash transactions with the use of QR codes, is making its own contribution to facilitate this process. The whole process is very easy. The QR code is scanned, the personal data entered, amount set, and the payment is made. It is possible to make a payment even with one's smartphone. After that, depending on the settings of the bank card, an SMS notification is sent or a payment confirmation to one's email. What's more, aside from QR codes and personal banking information, the person making the payment does not need anything else. All the information of the payment addressee is entered automatically. The QR codes have access to the coded banking information and bank account data of the entrepreneurs through a cloud service. Every private enterprise has to have one, and every legal entity has to have this information as well. And I, as a private individual, by scanning the code, make the payment to this account. So the money is transferred from my account to their account. This is how it works. By the way, the concept of a terminal is represented here only by its name. Physically, it is not there. The starter kit includes the QR code itself, a sticker with information that the company accepts non-cash payment, as well as an instruction for use. It would seem that such a product could just be downloaded from the web, but in practice, even the packaging serves a purpose. Our entrepreneurs, during the purchase, want to have something real in their hands, at least to get a feel for it. That is why we're making these boxes. Such virtual terminals are 10 times cheaper than traditional terminals. They're set up in one day and operate with the lowest commission, 2.5%. All this makes the smart POS terminals accessible and in demand. In less than a year, 3,500 of these terminals were set up. And every day in different regions of Kazakhstan, from 10 to 50 companies connect to this network. From Almaty to Eskimane, we have distributors in every city of Kazakhstan. You know that the country is not that small. In every city, a private entrepreneur or legal entity can purchase a smart POS and set it up in one day, and it will start working. Kazakhstan's developers are not just fulfilling private, but also state orders. The highway Astana-Shchuchinsk and kindergartens are also connected to their virtual terminals. Kindergartens do not accept cash payments. In order to pay for a child, it is necessary to go to the bank every time, wait in line, and then make the payment. This is not very convenient. And this way, it is possible to just take your child to the kindergarten, and then on the way back, scan the code and make the payment. Today, the company SmartPay is conducting negotiations on the payment through its system of parking lots and fines for violating traffic rules. By the way, the share of local content in the payment terminals is 100%. The packaging, design, and most importantly, the software were developed here. And this is the first Kazakhstan-produced IT product which has a chance to enter foreign markets. In 2016, this IT product was presented during a trade mission in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev.
Рынок Украины, он больше казахстанского где-то в несколько раз.
We have 17 million people, and here there are 45 million. In Kazakhstan, for example, 300,000 small entrepreneurs need payment transaction services. Here we are assessing the market to have 750,000 entrepreneurs.
Рынок примерно 750 тысяч предпринимателей.
There are challenges in the establishment of export channels for virtual payment terminals. In order to commence sales, contracts must be signed with the local bank through which the payment transactions will be made, and this takes more time than reaching an agreement with distributors or stores. Nevertheless, Kazakhstan's developers are optimistic. Their IT product is unique. That is why their plans include not just entering Ukraine's market, but also the establishment of virtual payment terminals in Kyrgyzstan, Singapore, Indonesia, and United Arab Emirates. Natalia Romanenko, exclusively for Single Market.
Специально для программы «Рынок без границ».
Last year, during yet another meeting of the Coordination Council of the State Program of Innovative Development of the Economy of Kazakhstan, a project was presented. The construction of a plant for the manufacturing of fire-resistant materials. There was a convincing argument in favor of this new project. It goes approximately like this. At the moment, the technologies for the production of fire-resistant materials in the post-Soviet space, which Kazakhstan is a part of, are substantially behind global trends. Our correspondent found out about the fate of this project. The aim of the project is the establishment of a high-technology production of dry, fire-resistant mixtures. Today, these products enjoy demand from metallurgy enterprises, and its main unique aspect is that it must comply with very strict parameters, withstand a temperature of above 1,500 degrees Celsius, protect furnaces, reactors and construction elements from the impact of heat energy, and other aggressive reactive agents. The realization of the project was preceded by an in-depth market research. The potential demand of the market was analyzed. A search was done for the most optimal place for the future enterprise. Investors from Austria decided to build their plant in Karaganda on the territory of the Special Economic Zone, where there is a favorable business climate, and chose a modular principle for the construction of the building. That is why the project was realized in a record short period of time, less than a year. The opening of the new enterprise, 7 Refractories Asia, was held in February of 2017. To this day, around €4 million were invested just into the enterprise. This money has been spent on construction and procurement of equipment. Aside from these investments, there are provisions for financing the procurement of 2 additional production lines, because already the first months of operations of the new plant showed that the fire-resistant products produced in Karaganda are expected by the metallurgy plants of Kazakhstan and Russia. By now, we have already sent the first shipments. These were to Metal Timirtau, the Lipetsk metallurgy plant, and the Magnitogorsk metallurgy plant. The projected production capacity of the enterprise is 38,000 tons of fire-resistant products annually. Of this volume, 25% of the products are intended for the domestic market. The majority, 75%, will be exported. What's more, not just to Russia, but also the countries of the far abroad. We have big plans. There are prospects. The shipment channels to India have already been established, for example. Then, of course, there are the companies from Turkey. We have already settled everything in terms of logistics. Considering that the products meet world standards, only high-quality raw materials can be used in its production. At the moment, they're being imported from other countries. But the plant's plans include consideration of the possibility of increasing the share of local content by using local sources of raw materials. In the prospective future, we're already considering the possibility of having our laboratory collect materials from sources on the territory of Kazakhstan. And by using various samples, we'll continue transitioning to use of the materials from Kazakhstan. The new enterprise has a good chance of becoming a competitive producer not just on the territory of the countries of the Eurasian Economic Union, but also on the global market. A number of fundamental conditions work in favor of this forecast. The priority status of the ore mining and metallurgy sector of Kazakhstan's economy, favorable tax regime of the Special Economic Zone Sarayarka, and preferential incentives of the customs code of the Eurasian Economic Union. That's all for today. My name is Pavел Koktyshev. Kind reminder, all the episodes of our program are available on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Market.